I'm going to give you guys some advice real quick. The next time you're considering being in a committed relationship with someone, literally sit down with them like a business discussion. Maybe even with a pen and paper to go over in hard lines, in detail, in clarity, what is and is not acceptable, what is considered cheating and what's not. Because what I find, man, most of the people that end up getting hurt, it's because the communication in itself is like operating in this strange gray area. And again, going back to what I always say, and I get slack for this, I get shit for this all the time. If you are crystal clear with most women today on what you're okay with and not okay with, you will find that, quote me on this, the vast majority of women today, of any age, will not work. They're not going to like what you have to say. You're not going to like what they have to say. The big problem comes, especially with men, because of most men's lack of options. They will overlook shit they should not be overlooking. Give you a quick example. Let's say you meet a girl. You guys are getting along. You've been seeing each other a few times. You really like each other. And you're kind of just like going into this realm of possible committed relationship. You sit down with that girl. I don't care how sweet she is, how great she seems. Sit down with that girl. Tell her basics like, I'm not okay with somebody dressing provocatively, going out with their girlfriends, especially to places where single men are going to be trying to hit on them. Tell them that, posting inappropriate stuff on social media is not okay, or whatever. I'm just naming off shit. Most women today look at stuff like that as a rite of passage. They're allowed to do that hands down. If you even remotely question that, you're the bad guy. That's why I always say, not to be negative, but most men today are better off staying single, and they're going to be single unless they overlook a bunch of red flags and they put up with a bunch of shit they shouldn't be putting up with, which in turn will end up biting them in the ass in the long run. That seems to be the biggest issue that I'm seeing in like the dating market today. It's that there's this weird gray area where men and women both, but men specifically, a lot of shit we're not okay with today. But very few men actually stand on that. Like very few men like stand on business, if you will, and draw a hard line and say, I'm not putting up with this, I'm not putting up with that. And the reason, like I've said before, that they don't draw that hard line is because they know damn well they're going to probably just be alone. Because most women today, in the world we live in, they're not really dateable in that regard. And I know that's triggering to a lot of people. I'll say it again. Most women today are not dateable if you are a self-respecting man with, reasonable boundaries and stuff. Like, even the smartphones, bro. You guys got to remember something. Smartphones are new. They're still very new. Social media is very new. Dating apps are very new. We've never had an experiment where a human being, especially women, let's be honest, because they're the ones that are getting, 75% of this attention online? We've never had an experiment where women have had this endless global market of attention. It's never been like this in history, bro. Never. Back in the day, you operated within the realm of your neighborhood, your social circle. Our parents didn't have smartphones. Our parents did not have social media, dating apps, global connection. Back in the day, bro, you couldn't see the chicks in a 10-minute drive away from you, hardly ever, if you didn't physically see them in real life, in your everyday life. That's why loyalty was so much more back then, because women had a better idea of a good catch when they saw one. Nowadays, with all the smoke screen and mirrors of social media, and yes, it affects men too, don't get me wrong, but let's be clear. Anybody who tries to argue that men are getting the level of admiration and attention and validation that women get, bullshit. Even the top 5% of men don't get the attention that the bottom percentage of even average at best women get. It's just not the same. It's not. That's not opinion, that's fact. That's fact. And again, like I've said before, when you look into the psychological realm of humans, like we have this inability to go backwards once a new baseline has been established. Why do you think so many people say not to use performance enhancing drugs? Because once that becomes a new baseline, if you're someone that feels like shit and you take PEDs in the gym, you hit this new baseline, you're only going to want to go up. You're not going to want to cycle off and go down. You're not going to want to do that. Now you open Pandora's box that is very hard to close. Same thing goes for this attention, especially with women. It's the same thing. We have a new baseline now of what our society's like considering normal. We've never had this in history. So like as a man, more than ever, dude, you need to sit down with girls that you're potentially going to date and be very clear on what is and is not acceptable. There should be no gray area. Straight up. You know? Most men that I've met in my life, in fact, I'm gonna say literally every man that I've ever met in my life that's been hurt, either like a young man with a girlfriend or an older man that's been married and hurt, literally every single one that's been hurt has saw bullshit red flags that they overlooked by choice. You can't tell me that even a remotely measurable percentage of men that get hurt didn't see a goddamn red flag or two. We overlook bullshit we should not be overlooking. Some of us, a lot of us, because we're dumbasses that overlook it because we don't have any other options. And others overlook it from social, societal pressure now that gaslights you and tells you, don't be controlling, don't be insecure, no bullshit, dude. You have a right to have your own boundaries and stuff as well. Just because the world's moving in this horrible direction doesn't mean you have to go along with it. If you meet a girl and you tell her you dressing provocatively and going out with your friends, or even going out with your friends at all, to areas where you know damn well single men are there trying to hit on you, or just going somewhere in general where you know you're going there to get attention, that is clear as day. That's not okay, bro. That girl is not committed relationship material. That's on you, dumbass, if you go for that shit. If you have that talk and she doesn't agree with you, if she tries to rebut that, don't even get mad. You just say, oh, okay, this person's not committed relationship material. This was a friends with benefits, or this is a sex playmate. That's it. And if you don't want that, if you want something serious, you walk away. You walk away. The biggest problem with most men today is they will not walk away when they see red flags. Why do you think I still get comments on these videos telling me I'm crazy, I'm unrealistic, what I'm saying is absolutely ridiculous, controlling? It's because these guys know damn well what I'm saying is true. They know damn well the vast majority of women you'll be done with like that if you actually hold them accountable for this stuff. Most women today are not dateable. They're not, bro. Now again, you can negotiate what is or is not on your own. But like I've said before, women that are, promiscuous like that on social media and stuff, not dateable. Women that, walk around gyms dressed provocatively when they act like it's not to get attention and admiration from men, not dateable. That's any girl in the gym culture now, and I love the gym culture. Those women are not capable of being loyal. I know that triggers a lot of people. Listen, they're not capable of being loyal unless you absolutely knock their socks off and they're head over heels in love with you. Once their attraction falls a little bit, they'll find a new guy, bro. Promise you, they will. Get mad if you want. That's the truth. And no, it's not because I've been hurt. I've watched other men get hurt my whole life. I've seen it. I've made an asserted effort to study this stuff and pay attention to this stuff just for fun in my free time. I see it all the time. Same thing goes, like I said, with women that are into trashy hip-hop music and that are into men's sports and stuff. Absolute red flag. Those women are not dateable. A woman has no business watching men's sports. That is disgusting. That is That is literally, she is literally just lusting after other guys on the TV. If you think otherwise, you're a sucker, bro. You're a sucker. A woman's interest should not be in men's sports. It shouldn't be. She shouldn't want to watch that. Same thing with vulgar music lyrics. If they think that's cute and funny and sing along, disqualified, dude. But again, you guys don't like to hear this because that's 80% of the women out here today. 95% of the women today. We can't just keep ignoring this as men and keep dating women that are like, they're damaged and walking red flags. No, that's why I always say most men are better off just staying single. Stay single, be a scumbag, and friends with benefits. Some people don't like to hear that, but that's, if you take your emotions out of the equation, and you look at what's best for you, like a business decision, that's going to be it, bro.